5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another week and another episode of the Everything Medicare Podcast. I am your host, as always, Christian Brindle. And folks, today is the last day of September. It is September 30th on a Sunday. As I've talked about the last 2 weeks, we are now moving our podcast to Sunday, when it used to be on Mondays. The reason for this being that during the enrollment period, we just cannot bear to bring you a podcast on Monday. Our office is too crazy, too chaotic. My schedule is ridiculous. And the only time I could do it was Sunday. We were considering just not doing it at all until the end of the enrollment period, but I did not want to do that, and I just wanted to continue to bring you content and information to help guide you as this enrollment period goes forward. Folks, we're talking about the enrollment period today, and we've been talking about it the last couple of weeks. Some people might just feel sickened by it, but one thing I wanted to talk about this week was new Medicare Advantage plans in your market and what to be careful about. So, new Medicare Advantage plans in your market. Every year, in multiple areas and new markets, there are new Medicare Advantage plans that are being placed into your market. It might be a new insurance company altogether. It might be an established insurance company that's getting involved into the Medicare Advantage market, which there's one notable one that's doing that this year, and I'm not going to mention names. It could be an insurance company that has a long history with Medicare Advantage plans, and they just are bringing a new plan to you. Also, every year there's Medicare Advantage plans that pull out of markets. They end up canceling in entire markets, and thousands of people, in some instances, sometimes even more, end up losing their plan, and they are forced to pick a new one. But every year, the shiny new plan comes out, and it usually raises a lot of eyebrows. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to explain to you the dangers of jumping into the shiny new plan right off the bat. It's quite simple, folks. When you have a new plan that's available, they always try to make it as good as it can possibly be right off the bat. Okay? However, there are things about plans that make them, well, the newer plans always look the best because they're brought out with the best, newest benefits in order for them to draw in customers. Now, Medicare Advantage plans, as anyone that's listened to me for some time know, that they change a lot from year to year. Not all of them. Some of them don't change much, but they all go through some kind of changes year in and year out. Some are good, some are bad, some are big, some are small. And typically, this is usually the way it works, not always, but typically, new plans into the marketplace remain very strong right off the bat, and they tweak and adapt and get worse from year to year. It's not always the case. Some stay the same, and sometimes they even get better, but most of the plans that I have observed come out looking like gold, and they slowly deteriorate over time. And sometimes they deteriorate. Sometimes they'll have a year of great benefits, and then in a year, sometimes even 2 years, it's like a completely different plan, and it's not really that good anymore. I've seen it from all different types of insurance companies over the years. Stay with me into segment 2, where we're going to talk more about this. Welcome back to segment 2 of the Everything Medicare Podcast. Folks, we are 1 day away from October 1st. October 1st is when all of the plan changes become public to you and to the world. And it's when the craziness starts for us. Now, most people, if you're Medicare beneficiaries, start getting phone calls from agents that are breaking the law weeks before the 1st. If an agent unsolicited calls you, meaning that you did not request any type of phone call, he's breaking the law, I encourage you to turn him in. First and foremost. I encourage you to turn them in to your insurance department, to Medicare. They're breaking federal law. Don't let them get away with it. That's what I start off encouraging you by. Don't let yourself be taken advantage of by people that don't even respect you enough to respect your privacy, your boundaries, and don't respect the rules that are put in place to protect you. That's not someone you want to work with, first and foremost. But we're talking about plan changes, folks. This is what I always tell people. For the people that jump onto the shiny new plan every year, most people, now this may or may not be you, some people it doesn't apply, but most people do not want to change their plan every single year. They just don't want to do it. It's not something that interests them, because changing the plan means you have to keep adapting and adjusting to a new plan year in and year out. It takes a lot of work on your part as far as getting used to the new plan. No matter how good of an agent you have, there's a growth period. There's a learning curve when you when you change plans. And essentially, what you're looking at is, do you want to be changing your plan every year? Or do you want to go with plans that are available in your marketplace that have been incredibly stable and steady? And that's what you got to ask yourself. Just because the newer plan might have a few dollars less of a copay, and if that's very important to you and that's a deal breaker, then by all means go with the newer plan. Just keep in mind that there is a chance that you're going to have to change to something else next year when that plan goes down the toilet. Because newer plans, you never know what they're going to bring year in and year out. When you're going with a newer plan that's going through growth, because what it comes down to, folks, is the insurance company that's offering that plan does not really know what they can and cannot offer. And they're throwing it out there to see what they can handle. And then once they determine if they can or cannot handle it, if they can't handle it, they make changes to make it so they can handle it. So when you were working with a new plan, you're in a situation where basically you are going through that growth period with that plan. And you never want to go through a growth period with a plan. You want to work with a plan that's already grown, if that makes sense, and established. That's my opinion. Sometimes the new plan is just so much better and it's worth it to be on that for a year. I understand that. I'm not saying that's not what you should do depending on your situation. I'm just saying be careful. Be careful, because unless you are comfortable changing your plan year in and year out, it's something that you have to be aware of, and not that many people are. And that's my final warning to you pre the enrollment period that starts, technically it starts October 15th, but the madness starts tomorrow on October 1st, Monday. Stay with me into segment 3, and I'm going to wrap this puppy up. It's been a short podcast, and I hope I was able to bring a message to you that will help you make your best choices this annual enrollment period. Stay tuned. Stay put. Welcome back, folks. Thanks for staying put. Thanks for tuning in to our final episode of the Everything Medicare Podcast before the enrollment period takes place. Folks, just keep in mind, in summary, that a new plan has no promises that it's going to stay a new plan, and you might end up playing leapfrog for years, jumping back and forth to find the right plan. I encourage you to, and you never know, you could work with an established plan that's been consistent for years and it could go down the toilet. You never know, but that's less likely. And that's something I encourage you to put some focus on and some value into your decision. If it's close in the benefits, if it's dramatically better on your medications, on your on copays that you're most likely going to use, then of course the shiny new plan makes more sense in regard. But if you can help it, an established plan that's going to be more likely to keep you where you need to be consistently for years to come is more beneficial to you long term, because you're not having to reevaluate and change year in and year out. Folks, during this enrollment period, I have some things I have for you that I want to suggest to help make your enrollment period more productive. And the first one is, if you have not picked up a copy of my book, I've written 2 books and published both of them. They're both on Amazon. Both of them are about Medicare, but there's only one in particular that I think that I want to talk about today, and that is Medicare Guidance, Picking the Plan for You. It's a beautiful little red book that I published, I wrote. It's all my words about Medicare. And there's a chapter on everything you need to know. It's summarized without all the fluff, and it's explained in a way that anybody can understand. It's broken down to where a child could understand it. On Amazon right now, I have it going for $5.50. For that price, I'm practically giving it away. If you want to understand what your choices are, if you want to understand Medicare, this book is an easy read. It's 50 pages. Most people can get through it in a day, sometimes even faster than that. You'll know more about Medicare than all of your friends, all of your neighbors, all of your family members, and you'll be able to make a more informed decision. You'll probably know more than most agents out there by reading this book. There's a chapter on Medicare Advantage plans, a chapter on prescription drug plans, a chapter on original Medicare, a chapter on Medicare supplements / Medigaps, a chapter on the origins of Medicare. It's just a very detailed, insightful, well-explained, broken down book. So if you want to find that on Amazon, type in Medicare Guidance, Picking the Plan for You. It is by me, Christian Brindle. And I think it'll help you make good choices for this enrollment period, number 1. Number 2, folks, if you live in Utah, that is where our offices are located. We are happy to work with you if you need someone to work with and review your plan this enrollment period. We are independent, carry all the insurance companies in our markets, so we're able to offer you whatever it is you need. That's number 1. So if you're in Utah, call our office at 801-572-3808, 801-572-3808. But not just in Utah. If you live in Idaho or Florida, we work in those markets as well. So if you'd like a free quote, free comparison of your program, those are the 3 states we do business in, and we can help you in. We are expanding all the time to more states, so just stay tuned if you're not in one of those places. Follow us on your favorite social media to get constant updates through the enrollment period. Follow us at Christian Brindle Insurance on Instagram, Christian Brindle Insurance Services on Facebook, Christian Brindle without the E on Twitter, Christian Brindle on YouTube for educational YouTube videos that I make myself, Christian Brindle on LinkedIn, and Christian Brindle Insurance Services on Tumblr, if you're on there. Folks, I really appreciate you listening and tuning in. I wish you a fantastic enrollment period, and I will bring you a podcast next Sunday. Have a great week and a great 1st of October.